There's a traffic camera on Pasteur Street in central Tehran. It's part of Iran's own surveillance network, built to track protesters, hunt dissidents, and crush anyone who speaks against the regime. But for years, that camera wasn't watching the Iranian people. It was watching the supreme leader, because Israel had hacked it. Not just that one. Nearly every traffic camera in Tehran, encrypted, rerouted, and streaming live to servers in Tel Aviv. And one camera, in particular, angled just right, showed exactly where Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's bodyguards parked their cars every morning, their home addresses, their shift schedules, their commuting routes, which senior official each one was assigned to protect. Iran's own eyes turned against it, and Khamenei had no idea. This is the story of how two intelligence agencies spent years building the most detailed surveillance operation in modern espionage and used it to kill the most powerful man in the Middle East in broad daylight.
The United States and Israel are launching airstrikes across Iran.
The Pentagon today announcing it's sending more troops and fighter jets to join the operation.
شهد گوارای شهادت را نوشیدم و به ملکوت اعلی پیوستم.
To understand how this happened, you have to go back to 2001. Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon pulls Mossad chief Meir Dagan into a room and gives him one directive: make Iran the #1 priority. Not Hamas, not Hezbollah. Iran, the Islamic Republic, the head of the snake. That single order launched a 25-year intelligence campaign. Mossad began recruiting human assets inside Iran. Unit 8200, Israel's elite signals intelligence corps, started intercepting communications, hacking networks, and building what would eventually become the most comprehensive surveillance apparatus ever pointed at a single country. Year after year, the picture got sharper. By the time the June 2025 war came around, Israel demonstrated what all that preparation looked like in practice. They assassinated 6 Iranian nuclear scientists, some inside their own homes. They knew where these people lived, when they ate dinner, and which room they slept in. But Khamenei was a different target, the most protected man in the Middle East. He moved between a heavily fortified compound on Palestine Street in central Tehran, 50 buildings, 500 employees, and deep underground bunkers accessible by elevators that took more than 5 minutes to descend. After the June War, he retreated underground almost full-time, earning the mocking nickname Mush Ali, Rat Ali. So how do you find a man who lives inside a mountain? You don't look for him, you look for the people around him. This is where the traffic cameras change everything. Unit 8200 developed algorithms, artificial intelligence tools that could process the vast streams of footage pouring in from Tehran's own camera network. They weren't just watching roads, they were building what intelligence officials call a pattern of life. One Israeli intelligence official described the system to the Financial Times as an assembly line with a single product, targets. And here's the part that makes this story almost absurd. Iran knew. In 2025, Iranian Brigadier General Gholam Reza Jalali publicly stated that Iran had discovered foreign code inside its security cameras, confirming they were sending images to external servers. They knew their own network was compromised, and somehow Iran's most senior leaders kept meeting inside the same buildings, following the same routines, guarded by the same men whose entire lives had already been cataloged by Israeli algorithms. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, the CIA was running its own parallel operation. For over 8 months, American intelligence had been mapping Khamenei's daily patterns, where he lived, who he met, how he communicated, and where he'd retreat if threatened. They had something Mossad needed, a human source inside Iran, someone close enough to confirm what the cameras and the algorithms were suggesting. Then, in late February 2026, the breakthrough. Nuclear negotiations between Washington and Tehran had collapsed.
Mr. President, the United States and some European states persist in the imposition of unlawful sanctions.
Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world.
3 rounds of talks, Muscat, Geneva, Geneva again, went nowhere. Iran's negotiators boasted about possessing 460 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium. Trump's envoys flew home and told the president a deal was difficult, if not impossible. Trump gave Iran a 10-day deadline. It expired, but the intelligence community had already identified something far more valuable than a deal. They learned that a rare Saturday morning meeting was scheduled at Khamenei's compound near Pasteur Street. Not just any meeting. The commander of the Revolutionary Guard, the defense minister, the chief of staff, the head of intelligence, and the supreme leader himself, all in one place, at one time. The CIA's human source confirmed it. Khamenei would be there. The original plan had been a Friday night strike under cover of darkness, but this changed everything. Intelligence officials assessed that once war started, Iran's leaders would vanish into hardened underground bunkers within hours, possibly minutes. Khamenei, described by sources as overly cautious, paradoxically felt safer during daylight hours. After months underground, he had come up. He let his guard down. That mistake would cost him his life. Saturday morning, February 28th, before a single missile launches, the war begins in silence. U.S. Cyber Command and Space Command start layering what General Dan Kane called non-kinetic effects, disrupting, degrading, and blinding Iran's ability to see, communicate, or respond. Israel launches coordinated cyber attacks on Iranian infrastructure and media. Across Tehran, the internet goes dark, a near-total blackout. Then, the phone towers. If you try to call anyone in that area, the phone just rings busy. Khamenei's protection detail, the men whose schedules Israel has known for years, cannot receive warnings. They cannot be told that 200 fighter jets are already in the air. Around 6 a.m. Israel time, the largest strike formation in Israeli Air Force history takes off. F-35, I stealth fighters, F-15, I long-range strike aircraft, 200 planes. Flight time to Tehran, approximately 2 hours. At roughly 9:40 a.m. Tehran time, 30 precision-guided Sparrow missiles hit Khamenei's compound. 3 buildings, simultaneously. Within 60 seconds, one housing the military leadership meeting, one housing Khamenei, one containing the Supreme National Security Council offices. The man who had ruled Iran for 36 years, longer than any leader in the Middle East, was dead, along with at least 13 of his most senior military officials, members of his family, and what CBS News would later report as 40 Iranian officials killed across the broader strikes. Iran's own surveillance cameras, hacked years ago, had provided the map. Its own phone towers, disrupted minutes before, had silenced the alarm. And the meeting that brought every high-value target to one building was confirmed by a source the regime never found.
Iranian state media has confirmed its supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, has been killed in his compound.
Citing leaders in Israel as well, the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, first announcing this.
Hours later, Trump posted on social media. He was unable to avoid our intelligence and highly sophisticated tracking systems. Iran's state broadcaster confirmed the deaths. Celebrations erupted in Tehran, Isfahan, and Shiraz. People cheered in the streets. A statue of Khamenei was toppled in Deloran. Security forces opened fire on the crowds. Near the Imam Reza shrine in Mashhad, thousands gathered to mourn. One country, 2 completely opposite reactions, both happening at the same time. As policy analyst Karim Sajadpour put it, Khamenei lived by death to America and death to Israel. He died by death from America and Israel. What happens next? The succession crisis, the retaliation across 9 countries, the 165 schoolgirls killed in Minab, the Strait of Hormuz shut down. The war still raging across 153 Iranian cities on day 5.
The U.S. military is prepared to strike Iran as early as this weekend, sources are telling CNN.
And internationally, not only because they're optional, because if every nation went out to strike adversaries who they thought were temporarily weak, we would live in a world of constant war.
All of that deserves its own video, and we're working on it. But this chapter, the intelligence operation itself, might be the most extraordinary part. A 25-year espionage campaign, traffic cameras turned into spy tools, AI algorithms that reduced a nation's leadership to data points, a human source who confirmed the kill, and an 86-year-old man who came up from his bunker on the wrong Saturday morning. The question no one in power seems to want to answer. When you can watch any leader on Earth through their own cameras, who's next?